Hi, Ryan. Hi, Emma.
Good
Hi.
So
morning.
I just wanted to take a moment and sit down with you two and talk to you a little bit about your Jazwares internship experience. I've had the pleasure of hosting you all as part of our initial or our inaugural cohort under our new internship experience. And so today I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit, have a little bit of a conversation about what your experience has been and what it is that you have taken away um, from your experience, and hopefully find out how we can improve it, make it better, um, and impact more lives of interns going forward. So
Cool.
tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Tell me your school, your major, when you graduate, just give us some information.
Yep. So I'm Emma. I go to the University of Miami. I'm majoring in economics and political science, and I'm pre-law, and I interned in the information technology department this summer.
Hi, my name's Ryan Corona. I graduated from FIU. I graduated with a communications degree, and my career path is all over the place. I didn't want to go into business and sales, so I was just like, okay, let me go into creative services, something I'm more passionate about. So that's kind of where I was headed.
So prior to your internship at Jazwares, what was your goal for your career or your school path?
Do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
So I knew I was going to law school. What I was doing from there was up in the air.
Yeah, and for me, once I graduated, it was like, let's just make money. That was kind of it, right? And for me, it definitely started getting where I'm like, all right, this isn't what life's all about. So
Awesome. Okay. So hopefully we'll see how that has evolved since you've been a part of Jazwares and see how the internship has maybe changed or shaped that. And so I'm wondering, so now that you've experienced Jazwares, now that you know who Jazwares is, you've had an opportunity to be a part of this internship program, how has that, if it has, impacted your now career goals or your now goals for school? Um, what have you taken away in that regard?
So I think the summer has definitely actually helped me a lot. So specific to Jazwares, working here, I learned two things. One, I definitely know I want to work in an environment like similar to this, like culture wise. And two, I realized like because I like working like in a business environment, um, currently I would like to probably work like in-house as an attorney. Like I still want to go to law school. I still want to do all of that. But I think I would love to work in a place like this.
yeah, and for me, it really gave me hope that for a creative person like myself, there is a career path and like this huge career opportunity for me and people like me where I'm not the most traditional when it comes to getting assignments done. I'm kind of an outside the box thinker. So when it comes to this type of getting a job and working in like an environment like this, it's been very eye-opening, and it's given me a lot of hope knowing that okay, there are definitely careers that are aligned with your way of thinking and way of like completing tasks and projects. So it's been great.
I love two things that both of you said. So I'll start with you, Emma. One, what I love about your experience is that the toy industry was not on your radar at all. And it reminds me a lot of myself. I had no idea that the toy industry could find a home for me, because I was not a traditional, I'm not creative. So I'm not a Ryan, right?
We can't all be
And
like
then,
you.
right? And then you aren't a Ryan. You have a very specific administrative type of organizational skill set. You want to be an attorney. And to see yourself in this space, I think is pretty brilliant. And I love that that is something that you can share with other interns, that you don't have to limit yourself to a particular industry. There's room for you in so many industries that you didn't even think about. And then for you, Ryan, I love the idea of hope, right? That there is a place where your brain works, the way that you do things that is a bit unorthodox. It's not really cookie cutter. It doesn't, 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily equal 2. Sometimes it could equal 3 and a banana, right? So I
That's a
really,
good
really
way of
love the
putting
fact
it.
that this internship has given you some hope that there is a place for you to thrive in a professional environment,
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily look like, a cutout box. So
yeah,
that is amazing to me. I'm very pleased to hear that. Let's dig a little deeper. I'm thinking part of the Jazwares internship program, we offered you all life and career planning. And so we were able to fold that into the internship experience with Jazwares. How, if in any way, has that impacted you? What has been your experience with the coaches, the mentorship, and has it been positive, or what has been your takeaway?
yeah. I'm gonna start because I honestly haven't stopped talking about it to the people that are in my life because it's so refreshing to finally be a part of something where the company is actually investing in you. Obviously, they invest in you financially when they're paying you salary or something like that, but this is like a whole nother level of care, right? Where Jazzwares is able to just is like they put together this program. You put together this program to really invest in us and allow us to develop ourselves. And like everyone that I've talked to about it is kind of blown away and they're like, no way they're actually doing that for you. And it's because you care and you want that to like it just makes sense, right? Because if we're our best selves and we're content with what we're doing and we're only going to just be able to deliver that much more for the company.
I also really, really liked life coaching. I had a great coach. Just the program in general, like life and career planning. I think that was like the important part. It was like life. Like when I was growing up, at least, I always like focused on the career part. Like, oh, like these are my next steps. Like to get the career that I want. And they helped helped me realize. I know the other interns when we talked about it. That you have to make sure you're fitting life in there.
I wish that at your age I would have had this very targeted message about my career and my life. And I will say I'm one of the fortunate ones. My mother was very, very instrumental in doing that type of thing. Um, but for that to be able, for that to be offered by a company, I think is paramount. With that being said, I'd like to hear from you. Do you have any takeaways or suggestions for Jazzwares or the toy industry, the Toy Foundation, on how they can recruit students such as yourself, and then also how they can recruit, well, when I say how they can recruit, what are you looking for? If someone was to come and offer you a job, if a company were to say to you, Emma, I want to hire you, Ryan, I want to hire you, what would they have to bring to the table? Because it's a two-way street, right? It's not just one-sided. So what is it that you would need from that organization to feel like you would be a good fit for them?
I know our generation at least like really values culture. Like in a workplace, like we don't want to like we care about the company's reputation. We care about like our work-life balance. We're not trying to stay at work until 7 p.m. Like we want to be able to do the work that we're given within our working hours. So I know that's very important to us. With regards to like inclusivity, the toy industry is like inherently fun. Like it's literally toys.
Yeah,
I know that if I went to a job fair at my school, so like recruiting specifically at universities, if they had some squishmallow set up on that table, I know every single college student would be lining up to talk to them. Like, you know, two people acting natural. I know we have a very, very laid back culture here. If I saw that, I would love to go talk to any recruiter sitting at that table.
I want to go back to some of the ideas that you all had in regards to what it takes for an organization to get a U, what it takes for an organization to get an Emma, to get a Ryan, to get a Vish, to get Tucker, right? You mentioned the idea of the culture, right? What about philanthropy? Because, you know, you think about giving back, you know, and I know sitting in the huddles with each and every one of you during our biweekly huddles, that was a core consensus. You all in your normal lives make it a point to give back to others. So how important is that to you, that a company you work for does that as well, or they, you know, put their best effort forward in that regard?
Yeah. Well, specifically speaking on working for a toy company, it almost seems illogical for a toy company not to give back to children that don't have the, let's say, $20 to spend on a new action figure or toy. Because like toys can connect people, like they genuinely can, right? Like I've had conversations with one of our other interns that's, you know, close to, who's probably 9 years older than me, but we've had conversations on the same toys we grew up with, you know, and then that was a link for us to connect, and that was cool. But a toy company that actually gives back to, you know, underprivileged communities and stuff like that, and like sick kids that aren't able to go to the store and buy a new Squishmallow or something like that, it does speak volumes about the company. And for me, I think it would be almost tacky if I was working for a company that didn't care about, you know, the people who are buying this product, you know. So for me, it's definitely essential.
You said something, Ryan. You said, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically you said toys are a universal language.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
They transcend time, culture, age, gender, race, all of that. If you can get together and play with a toy, all of that other stuff kind of goes out the window. So I think that the toy industry itself is uniquely positioned to really, really increase their inclusivity on, and the luxury of having a really, really diverse internship pool of candidates where we have people from different walks of life. So that's been really, really amazing. But how important for you all in this generation is it for you to sit across from people that don't necessarily look like you, and to hear their perspectives? Because I think one of the great things about having a cohort is that you get fresh perspective from people that you wouldn't necessarily talk to or sit next to or have an opportunity to collaborate with, because that's one of the greatest pillars of Jazwares is collaboration, right? So how important do you think it is to be able to collaborate with folks that have a different perspective or a fresh perspective different than yours?
Want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely think that's the only way to go about approaching any sort of idea or obstacle, because having fresh perspectives, like you were saying, it's the only way to like innovate. And just being in a room filled with people that are like-minded and agree with everything you say isn't really gonna, it might take you far, but it's not gonna take you to exactly where you want to go. So definitely like being able to sit down with like everyone during the intern huddles and come up with different ideas. Because I know I'm the first one to speak, but then I might not be the only opinion or idea. I'm not the only idea that kind of sticks. And that feels good, because at the end of the day, we're here to collaborate, and hearing so like Emma interject and be like, well, actually, I think that was a good idea, but, and then putting something else on it. and then someone else doing that. And then that's the only way that we can really come up with something that makes sense for everyone, and it's inclusive and just overall great.
Yeah. Again, agree. Agree with everything. But I think it is really important. Like if everyone is literally the same, like it needs to be different personalities. Like there needs to be diversity, or like there's going to be no like good forward progress.
Yeah.
Like you need pushback and different perspectives to like make things better and for things to improve. So I do think it's like very important.
Yeah, and things would just get stale if we just all had the same ideas. And this is a toy company. We're supposed to innovate toys. We're not supposed to have them as the same as they were, 25 years ago, right? Like we're coming up with new ideas and ways of creating things, and marketing. There's just so much that goes into it. So it definitely takes like a whole village, but diversity and like the way that people were like, raised, brought up, like they're just their mindsets, if it's all a little bit different, it really does help, right? With the perspective on how do you build stuff. It's cool.
I guess just another point is like if we are like marketing and selling to like a diverse audience, like then the people that are making or like designing these toys should also be a diverse.
That's a good point.
That's just my last point.
Yeah, I love that. I think about it as a salad, right? So a lot of people like to say that we're a melting pot, or, but I prefer to call it a salad because the salad is blended together, but there's still these very distinct flavors and colors and representations. And it's still mixed in a bowl, and, you unite it with some salad dressing, but there's still this richness that comes out from these individual perspectives. So I really, really appreciate your thoughts on that. So I think that's all our time. I really want to thank you both for coming out to joining me this morning to represent our cohort and share your experiences with Jazwares. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to just applaud the efforts of the CEO of Jazwares, Judd Zabersky, and the president of Jazwares, Laura Zabersky, because this was initially a pet project for them. So when I came on as an intern, right, I was tasked with creating this centrally managed program because they wanted to be a lot more intentional about the people that they were impacting in regards to the internships or the interns that were coming through Jazwares. So I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to put something like this in place for them, and just so blown away by their intentionality, their focus on it, and their commitment to making sure that you all have a beautiful and meaningful experience. So and also to Amy, our HR Global VP of HR, just the synergy and the support from top tier leadership has made this program a huge success. And I want to thank you for being a part of our first year, our inaugural class of interns for Jazwares. And thank you all for sharing your time with us. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you.